Quickly today, we look at the crisis rocking Ekiti State and the attempts to undermine the state's judiciary.
With tension mounting across the state capital, Ekiti has become the subject of alarming headlines in the news yet again, following the tragic assault on the judiciary.
Another issue that has become the subject of news headlines is the recent death verdict of a military court-martial on some soldiers accused of mutiny in the country.
I believe there are other ways of disciplining them, not going to kill them.
Those are some of the issues we're focusing on the program today. Welcome to Law Weekly on Channels Television. I am Shola Sheyeli. Ekiti State in Nigeria's southwest region has been in the news lately for all the wrong reasons. The judiciary is right in the middle of it all. This is how the government and some of the people in Ekiti narrated how the incident happened.
On Monday, September 22nd, thugs acting on the incitement of an interested party in a politically motivated case were involved in the sacrilegious sacking of the court whilst hearing in the political case was in progress. This happened in full glare of the law enforcement agents with inadequate response from them.
Their target to frustrate the inauguration or foster the Speaker of Ekiti State as acting governor is not in line with the Constitution of Nigeria. Even if you get any judgment by any backdoor means, it does not stop my inauguration. Because there's a electoral process, there is a process that gives INEC the power to conduct elections, and whoever has won that election must be sworn in at all costs. Our CJ is an interested party in this matter. And we have been told that he wants to assign the matter to himself. He's a clear member of the E11, the petitioners. And his actions and inactions has confirmed that he's an interested party.
The E11 is a group of professionals in the state. They approached the High Court in Ado-Ekiti, the state capital, with a request to the court to compel the governor-elect to explain the circumstances surrounding his impeachment in 2006. A visibly shocked Attorney General, in a sober tone, told journalists what he heard about the incident.
I am informed that persons purportedly acting on the instructions of the governor-elect, Mr. Ayofayoshi, invaded the premises and insisted that court proceedings should be discontinued. I am also informed that persons acting on the instruction of the governor-elect assaulted the state high court judge, Justice Isaac Adineye, within the court premises.
Let them go and interview him. If anything of such happened to him, let them go and meet. If anything, if Justice Adeyeye can say that Fayose beat him or slapped him today, let them go and meet Justice Adeyeye, nothing more.
We have critically examined the role of the police, and we have this to say. Our findings revealed that the police took preventive measures by surrounding the court premises with over 100 policemen on that day. Presumably, those policemen were fully armed. Therefore, it beats the imagination of the bar how the hoodlums should have gotten a field day in the perpetration of their criminal hooliganism that day.
In the meantime, the Chief Judge has ordered a closure of all courts in the state. The governor has also taken some proactive steps to halt the descent into lawlessness.
I have taken the decision to institute a dusk to dawn curfew in the state immediately. Accordingly, there will be no movement between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m., and security agencies have been advised to effect this curfew maximally.
We made certain number of arrests because some people were actually caught right on the scene, burning houses. Some were seen, trying to picket roads. Some were seen burning tires. We have ample facts against them. and the investigation is ongoing. We have serious security situation at hand now. The curfew is extremely necessary. It will lessen our burden. We've been out since morning, and of course, curfew means you are supposed to stay in your houses, your individual houses. If you are found on the street, you have to settle blame.
Reactions continue to trail the mayhem in the state, and particularly the affront on the judiciary, with the MBA and many legal practitioners condemning it. But the Attorney General and indeed many other lawyers believe that it's time for the National Judicial Council to intervene to protect the integrity and sanctity of the judiciary.
What is important for us now, and I think this is where the NJC should come in, the rule that prevents judges from speaking out when they are violated, I think should be reviewed. The NJC needs to immediately introduce urgent measures to intervene in what is happening in EKITI now. Not if they can beat up a high court judge. Nothing stops them from beating up justices of the Court of Appeal. So it is important now that the NJC affirms the integrity and the sanctity of the judiciary in EKITI State.
Away from EKITI State, let's bring you up to speed with some other top legal stories of last week. Here is a recap.
We begin with the report that the Federal High Court, sitting in Lagos last week, ordered EKITI Group of Companies and its owner, Mr. Wale Babalakin, to hand over their concessionary powers at the Lagos Murtala Mohammed Airport 2 to the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria with immediate effect following their inability to pay a 50 billion naira debt owed the asset managers. The court also ordered EKITI's accounts in banks to be frozen with immediate effect, just as it ordered banks to disclose all account balances to the asset managers. AMCON was also ordered to take over 3 other giant companies, including the old Federal Secretariat building in Ikoyi, Lagos, belonging to Roygate Properties, pursuant to a concessionary agreement between Roygate and the federal government. The court empowered the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Dr. Ulisa Agbakoba, a senior advocate of Nigeria, to commence a recovery process with a view to recovering the company's assets and enforcing the liability of individual shareholders and directors. But EKITI has rushed to court and secured an interim injunction restraining AMCON and its agents from taking any steps in that direction, pending the hearing of a suit filed to challenge the action. While EKITI faces its battles in court, one person who has been granted relief by the court is the governor of Anambra State, Mr. Willie Obiano. The Supreme Court last week Monday upheld the decisions of the Election Tribunal and the Court of Appeal Enugu that he won the last November governorship elections. The court, in 3 separate judgments, dismissed the appeals by the candidates of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Mr. Chris Ngige, and the People's Democratic Party and its candidate, Mr. Tony Nwoye. The court held that the appellants failed to prove the allegations that the election was not conducted in compliance with the Electoral Act. Also basking in the euphoria of the court's freedom is the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Honorable Adeyemi Ikuforiji, who was last week Friday discharged by the Federal High Court, Lagos, on charges of conspiracy and money laundering. Justice Ibrahim Buba, in a ruling on a no-case submission filed by the Speaker and his co-accused, Juan Oyebode Atoyebi, held that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, failed to prove any of the ingredients of the crime against both men. The judge held that the 2 witnesses called by the EFCC did more harm than good to the case of the prosecution, as they failed to prove and corroborate the charges and allegations against the accused persons. The EFCC has agreed with that verdict and says it will explore the options of an appeal. While it lost that case, The anti-graft agency last week, Thursday, chose to drop the 6 billion naira fraud charges instituted against the former Minister of Works, Dr. Hassan Lawal, and 9 others before a federal high court in Abuja. The accused persons were to be arraigned afresh before Justice Ahmed Mohammed when the EFCC's prosecuting counsel, Mr. Wahab Shitu, informed the court that he had a firm instruction of the commission to discontinue the charges. No reason was given for the discontinuance of the suit, and in the absence of any objections, the judge promptly discharged them. The former Works Minister and others were being prosecuted for fraudulently obtaining a total sum of 6.41 billion naira from the federal government, Kogi and Nasarawa state governments between 2006 and 2009 under a public-private partnership concession scheme for the construction of a bridge across River Benue. And just like it did with the BRT soldiers' clash of July the 4th, 2014, the Lagos state government has instituted a public inquiry for the purpose of establishing the cause and manner of the recent incident of a collapsed building within the premises of the Synagogue Church of All Nations at Ikotun area of Lagos and the several deaths that followed it. The inquiry, which is in form of a coroner's inquest, was instigated by the state's Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Mr. Ade Ikpaye, under Section 15 of the Coroner's Law. The law provides that the coroner shall hold an inquest whenever he is informed that the death of a person lying within his coroner district was as a result of a violent, unnatural, or suspicious occurrence. The findings of the coroner may form the basis of a criminal prosecution where such is necessary and depending on the evidence collected. Magistrate Oyetade Komolafe, who also sat as coroner in the Dana air crash case, has been appointed as the coroner. He is expected to announce shortly his sitting, visitation schedules, and other details, and to hold the inquest at the premises of the High Court of Lagos in Ikeja.